The hairs on Max's neck stood straight up, his body going rigid as he blocked the path ahead, eyes locked on an empty stretch of forest trail. No growl. No bark. Just the kind of stillness that screams. Something was wrong. And though nothing in the peaceful morning hike suggested danger, Max, a 7-year-old German Shepherd and retired K9, wasn't wrong. He never had been. It had been a long road for Claire Thompson after the accident. She used to be a paramedic, the kind who thrived in chaos and moved with calm inside sirens and smoke. But 2 years ago, a highway pileup left her with a shattered femur, chronic nerve pain, and a deep fear she couldn't shake. The uniform was gone. The ambulance replaced with weekly therapy and slow walks that barely passed as exercise. Max had come into her life 6 months ago, a gift from an old friend on the force. Once trained to sniff out explosives and chase down criminals, Max had been retired early after an injury. They said he needed someone calm, quiet, kind. Someone healing, just like him. In the beginning, Claire wasn't sure they were a good match. Max was intense. Watchful. Quiet to the point of eerie. But he followed her everywhere, laid beside her leg when it ached, and nudged her awake from nightmares she never told anyone about. Over time, they became inseparable. And every morning, they walked the same forest trail behind her cottage. Always early. Always alone. Until that morning. At first, Claire didn't see anything. The forest looked the same as it always did. Trees swaying. Birds chirping. A soft wind threading through the leaves. But Max was frozen. Ears pinned back. Muscles coiled like a spring. Max, she whispered, stepping beside him. What is it, boy? He didn't move. She peered ahead. Nothing. No movement. No sound, except the whisper of wind. She took another step. Max growled. It wasn't the sound of a pet irritated or playful. It was low. Deep. A warning from a creature trained to detect threats before they became visible. Claire's heart skipped. She glanced around again, more carefully this time. Still, nothing. But then Max did something he'd never done before. He stepped in front of her. Pressed his body against her leg and physically pushed her back. Her breath caught. Okay, she murmured. Okay, we're turning around. She hadn't gone more than 20 steps back down the trail when it happened. A deafening crack. Then the sky split open with a roar of branches snapping, splintering, crashing to the ground. Claire turned just in time to see an enormous tree, diseased at the roots, weakened by storm, fall across the trail. Right where she'd been standing moments before. The trunk slammed into the earth, flinging dirt and leaves in all directions. Birds scattered. Dust hung in the air like smoke. Max stood beside her, tail still, chest rising and falling with steady breath. He hadn't just sensed it. He had known. Later, the rangers said it was a miracle. The tree had been quietly dying, hollow from the inside, its fall accelerated by wind and rot. No outward signs. No cracks. No leaning. Nothing a human would have noticed. But Max had known. Because dogs like Max don't wait for visible danger. They feel it. They listen to the world in ways we can't. That night, Claire sat on the porch, her hand resting on Max's thick fur, tears quietly streaking her face. She had doubted herself for so long. Thought the world had left her behind. That she was broken, a burden. But Max had stood in front of her when it mattered. Protected her when no one else could. Proved that her life was still worth saving. Not because she was strong. But because she was here. Still breathing. Still healing. Still capable of love. And Max? Max was proof that even the most broken souls can become protectors. Word of Max's heroism spread in the local community. Someone at the ranger station posted a photo of the fallen tree with a caption, "A retired K9 still doing what he was born to do." Claire was invited to speak at the annual K9 Service Awards later that year. She didn't want the spotlight, but she went, not for herself, but for Max. When she stepped on stage, she looked out at a sea of uniforms and service dogs, all trained to do what Max had done that morning. She cleared her throat and said, "They tell you not to trust your gut anymore when the world has let you down. But dogs, they don't second guess. They don't wait for proof. They just know." And this one, she glanced at Max lying beside the podium, tail softly thumping. "He reminded me that danger doesn't always scream. Sometimes, it whispers. And if we learn to listen, really listen, we just might save a life." So here's what Max taught me. Not all heroes wear badges. Not all instincts can be explained. And sometimes, the quietest guardian is the one who saves you when you didn't even know you needed saving. Because true protection isn't about fighting. It's about knowing. And standing firm when no one else can see why. Max saw what I couldn't. And because of that, I'm still here.